Hello, everybody. My name is Tony, and welcome to the next episode, a live podcast. And this episode is going to be very specific because we have Adam Bitcoin here. Hello, hello. I am so glad.
No,
I'm so glad you are here. I'm so glad you make time for this.
of course, bro. No worries. I got all the time in the world. It's okay, brother.
So let's go. Let's go to the first question.
Let's go.
The first question is, how has this year been for you overall?
That's a fucking tough one, bro. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Well, I don't ever lie anyway, but like, yo, it has not been good. I'm not gonna lie. It took me, to be honest, it's kind of all right. This is a long answer, bro. A very long answer. Okay. So I mean, I started when crypto was actually about decentralization, when crypto was about, can I curse? No, YouTube or whatever. Here, like F banks, let's say it like that. I'll try not to curse, but my vocabulary is very bad. Okay, so all right. So, back in the day when I started, it was a way different landscape. So these new people, they kind of changed the game into gambling, scamming, and all these new things that are, I guess kind of considered normal now, which to me, it's not really normal because it seems like these people don't have any morals. And so this last year, I was trying to, or let's say 2 years ago, which came into this year, I tried to build my own projects, build like meme projects, which ended up failing eventually. And, I ended up losing a lot of money after, I've been patient for a very long time, holding Bitcoin and, believing in the narrative. But, the landscape has changed. It really has. And I think you have to adapt to it. And, where personally, I'll say I was kind of angry, let's say, even though I'm never angry, I'm always happy. But like, I would be like, yo, what all these people scamming this, that, but like it's like normalized now. It's like, oh, let's just launch a meme, make some money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like, I came from the values of hold, let's build a community, this and that. So the whole crypto market has been changing. And, it was a rough lesson. It was a good lesson. I'm not happy where crypto is going right now because it just seems like, went from people who actually cared about freedom, actually cared about changing the world, to now people who just care about scamming their friend to make some money, and that's it. So it's kind of, it's good. It's all good. I'm still free. I'm still here. I still got crypto. I'm still in the game. But was it as good as the last cycles? No. Did I lose a lot of money instead of making money? Yes. But did I learn a lot? Yes. And, whatever. I guess the answer is last year was good, but a lot of hard lessons.
So, what has been at, taking most of your energy lately?
What has been taking a lot of my energy lately, bro? It's just, bro, honestly, dude, it's just seeing what this has became and from where it came from. Like that's, it's just it gets me so angry, and not angry because I still got a smile on my face, but like it gets me fucking pissed off. Sorry, it gets me. You got to beep that out. It gets me a little bit like up that people don't care about freedom anymore. All of these big guys, they're all cheering about the banks buying, about the government buying, about this and that. And like, anyone with the brain can see. Like, I just shut my computer, so I don't even know exact numbers. But like, yo, some of these billionaires, some of these CEXs, some of these people, they have more money than the entire liquidity in the Bitcoin market cap. They can easily move the market up and down whenever they want. And nobody cares. They're shilling CEX referral links. They're shilling just complete scams that they made just to rug pull their followers and fans. And these guys get the most views. These guys are getting the most attraction, and it's changing the game from something that used to be from a standpoint of freedom to now it's a standpoint of how can I make the most money in crypto and turn it into dollars, which that's not what the point of crypto is. The point of crypto is supposed to be you make dollars and then put it in crypto and leave the old system. So honestly, it's just very frustrating. I'm not going to lie. And it's frustrating because I want to teach people the right way. I want to put people on the correct path, but they're listening to these louder voices that are teaching them the wrong things, that are, showing off their Lamborghini and shit like it's fucking cool. I mean, yeah, whatever, it's cool, but it's not helping anything. Half these guys they ran away to fucking Dubai to escape taxes and to escape danger and violence and shit. But what are they doing? All they're doing is just, taking money from their fans so they can put it into dollars. They're not doing anything good for the ecosystem at all. So it's frustrating. That's what I gotta say. It's frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you said. I think the people is do more about money, money, money. But money is not money is not important thing. Is important, but not
Exactly.
most important thing.
Exactly. And when they change the law into you can't hold Bitcoin or you're gonna go to jail, and then they send you to jail, how are you gonna use your Lamborghini when you're sitting in jail for using Bitcoin? People say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, oh, that's not true. Wait 10 years, wait 5 years, and then you're gonna come back and say, oh, I should have listened to Adam Bitcoin.
Mm, yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you feel like this year change you in any way?
I mean, I think listen, I'm always the same person. I'm always going to be the same person. I've always had this, here, I'll talk about this real quick. I'll say something okay, so when I was like a little kid, when I was like, I don't even know, maybe it was 5 years old, 3 years old, something, whatever it was, I basically had a dream where like all of these things were like attacking me, but like I ended up like beating it and came out on top. Basically, it was like a spider or like an octopus or something with all these tentacles like trying to like
Hmm.
attack me, but I still won. I've always had that like same vision of like, yo, I'm not gonna let nobody tell me what to do. I am free wherever the fuck wherever I am, I'm free. That has never changed. But like, I guess my mindset in crypto is starting to change, because I used to just be like a Bitcoin maxi, only hold. But now I'm kind of saying, like, you know what? Everybody knows the memes are gambling now. If that's the way to make money, then maybe we just got to do it. Like, even though it's not really aligned with my morals and it's not really what I like, but how else do you make money now? Work for somebody, so I guess maybe, I've been trying it and, I never really, I've had a couple of like successes, let's say, but like I've always just held and never sold because it kind of was against my morals. But now that I'm looking at it closer and realizing that, you know what, like, this is what it's about now. This is what it changed into. So I guess like, it's if you can't beat them type, join them type of thing. Even
Hmm.
though so and I guess like maybe it's the way to drive traffic to me to get people to listen to me. Like, just go on their game, do what they do, and maybe people will start listening to me and then tell them the real things, because for me personally, I believe this, and I truly believe and truly know that like everyone keeps their money on centralized exchanges. Now they're doing their money on ETFs, all this stuff. And all of these people are, more or less they're malicious and, they control the market. And you are giving all of these malicious entities your money to control the market. So that's why we're in such a bad place right now, And there's been every single cycle, there's a new narrative, there's a new scam. Everybody goes, oh, let me do NFTs. Maybe it wasn't a scam at first, but then it turned, basically everybody lost their money. So whether it's a scam or not, they think it's a scam. And it just ruins the face of crypto. It ruins the face of decentralization of freedom because everybody that gets into it that's new loses their money and then they leave because they don't, and that's directly caused by malicious influencers, malicious centralized exchanges, all of these things that need to, be that need to be left behind in the space to move forward and actually make this like about freedom again.
So another question: do you feel more calm or more hungry than you were a year ago?
Calm or hungry, you
Yes,
said?
yes. How do you feel?
I mean, bro, to be honest, I'm always the same, dude. I'm not, like my parents had me learning to work and doing things when I'm 5 years old, lemonade stand, this, that. I started working like hard work when I was 15, like with my dad. I started my own business when I was like 17, 18.
Mhm.
I've always, like I'll go through cycles. Like I'm not going to lie, like just recently I had like a little month break, because like I always go super hard at things. But then if it fails, it kind of sets me back. I get a little sad. I got to like reevaluate things, and I just went through that. Like I had like about like a month, 2 months that I had to like really think and take a break because I was just, but like I said, I'm still in the game, like it's not like, I'm here and now I'm back, so it's just, I don't know, I think like all, failure changes you, it makes you reevaluate, but like I've never stopped and I'm never gonna stop. I'm probably gonna work till the day I die.
Yes, yes. So right now, we were going to um, talk about mindset. What do most people misunderstand your about you or your message?
Sometimes I think that sometimes, like maybe, okay, let's say like on a teaching somebody working aspect, people might say like my little brother, he used to always be like, "Yo, I hate working for you. Like you're such an a-hole, like this and that," because it gets me like, somebody makes a mistake or something that I think is like something simple. I'd just be like, I still got a smile on my face. I'm not an a-hole. I'm not, like, but like, so people sometimes might think like he's angry, he's like mean for this or something like that. But it's just like my tough love type of thing, Like I always got a smile on my face. Like I'm not gonna be angry for more than like 20 minutes, Like so I guess that's pretty much kind of it. Some people might think like, oh, this guy's like an a-hole. Oh, this guy's like, but it's not even like that. I'm just like it's a little tough love or something like that.
What belief do you hold that most people strongly disagree with?
What belief do I hold? Honestly, man, I think that most people do agree with me. But the thing is, I think that a lot of people are just scared to agree with me. Cause I don't hold back. I don't care what, like nobody can do nothing to me. What can they do to me? Like everyone's going to die in the end. So what can you do to me so bad that, I'll speak my mind. I'm always real. I don't care. And a lot of people, I think they might be scared to agree with me because they're scared to speak their mind. They're scared to say the things that I would say, something like that.
Do you think most people actually want freedom or just a comfort?
They don't care. They don't care because they don't know what it's like. They've never had beliefs that they've been attacked for constantly every single day of their life, and they don't, they don't care. They wake up, they go to work, they went to college, this and that. They don't know what it's like to be fighting for your freedom because of your beliefs.
So a comfort. They are choosing a comfort.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They're comfortable. They enjoy watching TV when they go home. This and that, and they think they're free, but because they don't realize that other people, like they don't realize the things that some people go through that are actually good people. I've never had a fight in my life. I've never, I wouldn't even think about like harming somebody, stealing from somebody, doing nothing like that. But then why am I like, why would I be judged or attacked by certain people because of some beliefs that I have? You know what I'm saying?
So what keeps you disciplined when motivation fades?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. This is my bad point, bro. I'm trying to stay disciplined right now. That's why I'm waking up. I'm working out. I'm going to the space. Because, bro, this is my hard point, Like I've had times, like I always, fall off, let's say for where, well, like it's like, oh, I'm waking up, I'm making 300 a day, 500 a day, 1,000 a day, and then all of a sudden it falls apart, and then I go into a depression for a year.
Hmm.
It's like, not, I'm never depressed. I'm always happy. I always got a smile on my face. But like, that's my bad point, bro. I'm not, and I know that's my bad point. That's why I woke up and I made my bed every single day now because I'm like, I have to get organized, stay on track. Like, how am I gonna win if I don't stay, focused and be staying on track? Because that is my pet peeve, I think is the word. Like my downfall.
Yeah.
Is that like, I need to have organization. I realize that now. Being older, I realize that I used to never want to wake up early or on time, or sometimes I wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like, I mean, in the wintertime when it's cold or something like that, but like now I'm realizing like, like organization and like a steady regimen is like really needed to succeed, I think.
Yeah. I think you are not alone. I think some people struggle with discipline. I struggle myself sometimes, but I think this is the discipline when we can always do better and we can always
Yeah.
like overcome
Yeah. No, I
ourselves.
agree, bro.
So how has your definition of success changed over time?
What's my definition of what changed over time?
Win. Yeah,
Success.
yeah,
Okay, you know what? Dude, I'll tell you something. Growing up in New York, seeing everybody like bowling out, I got Versace shades. Oh, I got this nice car. Oh, I got this, I got that. Like I used to be like that. Like I used to like go buy designer shit. I used to have all nice shit and stuff like that, but I think that's changed a lot that I don't care about that type of stuff. I got a Rolex, a couple $1,000 Rolex at my parents' house in New York. I don't care about that anymore. I got a $5 T-shirt on. I got a cheap place right here. Like, what else do I need? Do I really need a Lamborghini? And people be looking at me like, oh, who's that guy? I don't want that. I want a regular car so nobody looks at me. Like that's what's changed in my life.
okay, right now we are gonna talking about big block, Bitcoin, and I think you are the perfect man for this. Looking back at this year, did Bitcoin meet your expectations or surprise you?
A lot of Bitcoin maxis are gonna be mad if they listen to this. But I'll tell you something, bro. Like I don't even know what to think anymore. Like I kind of don't even believe in Bitcoin anymore. I really am not gonna lie. I still hold it. I really do. I still hold it. I don't even know what to do at this point. I truly feel like the market now is completely controlled by malicious entities. Like they have billions and billions of dollars printed with Tether, with USDC. They put in all these new laws, taxes, this, that, like I said before, look at the liquidity of Bitcoin. The liquidity of Bitcoin is trash. Like what is it? Like, I don't know, like a billion or like 100 billion or something. Like all you need is three billionaires to get together with a certain amount of supply and they could push it up or down anytime they want. Like I think that the whole market dynamics changed. Now it's just with the leverage. I'm not necessarily against any of these things. It is what it is, but like, these guys, all they have to do is put in some shorts, dump a couple thousand Bitcoin on the market and profit significantly. And they could just use it as their little gambling playground, whatever. So I don't even know what to think about Bitcoin and crypto anymore. Like I think that it's the future. It's still freedom. Where else can you take your entire bank account with you anywhere in the world at any time? Where else can you keep your money and nobody can take it from you unless they, torture you to get your 12 words out of you if you give it up? Like so it's still freedom. It's still kind of the same, like I've always believed in Monero a little bit because it's private and, it's actually good. They're taking it off exchanges. So, they're not going to be manipulating it as much. But I'm kind of thinking that, we're going to see eventually 5 years, 10 years, they're going to attack it. But then they're going to show their cards because if they can attack it, they could attack anything. So, that's why they haven't done that yet. So I don't, to be honest, bro, it's pretty crazy the developments and things that's happened over the last few years or over this year specifically. The last few months have really been making me think deeply about where this is headed and where it's going. Like to be honest, like I think that the whole market needs to be torn down and rebuilt again. They got USDC, they got banks buying, they got finance fucking controlling the whole market. All of these people are malicious. I don't necessarily want to say they're malicious, but maybe, and I think that, like just the whole basic structure after watching Luna and UST, I don't know if you know Luna and UST, but Luna and UST, Do Kwon, this guy has been sent to prison for 12 years. Bro, that was a coordinated attack against the protocol. That was not his fault. And they ruined the whole thing and put him in prison for it. So they can do anything. What happens if all of a sudden they decide, oh, let's just market sell 5,000 Bitcoins and put out a giant news thing? Bitcoin's dumping up. The same thing will happen. It it's not even a question. The same exact thing will happen. That was a marketing plan on UST. I am a marketer. I saw the whole thing with my eyes. I was in the Telegram when the whole thing started going down, and I saw the whole thing. It was not normal. It was not some like random thing. It was planned, coordinated. They had top posts on every single platform telling you to dump your Luna, dump your UST with giant influencers. It was not a mistake, and so what if they did it with Bitcoin tomorrow? It could be done.
Wow, wow! I did not. Wow, this is very interesting. This is very interesting because, like, because uh, I heard two things. I heard Bitcoin next year will be over, will dump, will be like zero, and don't answer me. We were gonna talk about that. And some people say opposite, like they say Bitcoin will be still good. So so it's like, and you said the disinformation, very
Well, to me,
interesting.
do you want me to like talk about that what you just said?
No, I have this question for
Okay,
this.
okay. Go ahead.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
so my next question is, what was the biggest lesson of Bitcoin that people this year?
My biggest lesson, I mean, listen, I'll tell you like the real biggest lesson is that I should have never listened to the noise, and I should have just held and held and held and held and held, and I'd be in a lot better situation right now. At the same time, like I said, I don't know if I really even trust Bitcoin as much as I did before because, like I said, these guys now they're all talking about it. The banks are buying up I'm trying to get the owner of Dubai or whatever, these guys, I'm trying to get them to buy. Who comes after them? What is Bitcoin used for? I've been really questioning this, because I was a big believer. But, I mean, okay, they could use it as like a settlement layer for oil, and then maybe a new narrative comes. But then also, why would they use Bitcoin as a settlement for oil if it can go down 15% in one day? Doesn't really make sense. So, I don't know, man. I'll tell you, I mean, my biggest lesson was maybe I should have just blocked out the noise and I should have held. But at the same time, it's like, maybe I should have just sold. Like the new, maybe I should have sold. Maybe I should have bought meme coins and sold instead of holding. So it was a confusing year. And I don't know, to be honest.
What the what is the biggest mistake people still make when it comes to the Bitcoin?
Not buying it, not dollar cost averaging it, not holding for the long term. A lot of people they just, they think, oh, I'm gonna buy a meme and get rich forever. And, it's not gonna happen. Maybe a couple of people it happens, but the people that are making money on memes are creating them, are, they have crazy wallet trackers, people that follow them, that buy after them.
The question is the biggest mistake people still make when it comes to the Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's mainly that I mean, like I said, I don't even know what to think of the future of Bitcoin anymore. But, if we still relate to the past, then, people shouldn't even be holding dollars. People shouldn't be holding any fiat currency. They should be putting it all into Bitcoin whenever they get it and holding it for the long term like a savings account. But like I said, I don't even know what to believe in anymore, honestly.
So, do you think people are still early or already late, and why?
Are they early or late?
Yes.
That's a great question because you know what? Are they late to Bitcoin? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But are they late to crypto? Definitely not. Like it is so early. People don't even understand what it is. They think it's a scam. Any normal person thinks it's a scam. But then you go to Western Union and you see lines around the corner when they could have literally just said, hey, mom, send me your wallet address and sent the money in 2 seconds. And then they could go to an office and get the cash or whatever, and it's done. So like if they understood this, they would all be doing it. It's so much easier. It doesn't make sense not to do it, but they don't understand. So in that aspect, they're early. Bitcoin has gone through a lot. And now, the narrative of Bitcoin is, oh, the banks are buying, oh, the governments are buying. That's not a good thing. That's why Bitcoin OGs are all dumping everything they have because they don't trust it anymore. They don't believe in it anymore. So I don't know.
Think they are late for the big pump, like they are late for this, like the big money, like for this 1,000 profit and this. But I think they still can make some money for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree. And listen, here's the thing too, is that what happens when the dollar or when the euro or when all these currencies actually start hyperinflating and people need to put their money somewhere? Then where are they going to put it? They're not buying the stocks anymore because that's dead. That's done. They're not going to have trust. What are they going to do? Buy physical gold, buy physical silver, and probably crypto. So, but crypto's also based on the dollar. So how does that work? You know, it's honestly, the future is questionable. Let's say, I don't even know what's going to happen. You know, I, I trust I trust keeping my money in crypto over the bank, but most people, they don't even know that USDT, USDC are CBDCs. They can be frozen. They can literally, they say, Adam Bitcoin's talking shit about the government's buying Bitcoin. Let me figure out his address from Twitter and then freeze all your money. They could do that. They do that. Like they've
Wow.
already, I don't know about Tether exactly, but let's say CEXs, they've sanctioned countries and stolen all of their money before. Why would you even use a platform that does that? That's against the ethos of crypto. Doesn't make sense. Once I heard that Binance stole everybody's money from Iran or Palestine or whatever the fuck it is, sorry, over there, I would have never used that platform or looked at it again. I didn't. Like they stole their money. Why would they not steal yours? It doesn't make sense.
Wow. I think the rabbit hole is big and deep. Wow.
Exactly. The rabbit hole gets very deep in this stuff.
So, if someone ignored Bitcoin completely this year, what did they miss?
50% gains. I don't know. They missed like watching the entire crypto market get ruined while everybody cheered for it. I don't know. They missed a lot, I guess. I'm telling you that this is not, the direction that this is being taken. Like another thing I say, people don't even know what it used to be like. Like you used to be able to go, I mean, you still can in certain countries, like in the US, I'm talking about specifically, you used to be able to call some guy, hey, bro, I need some Bitcoin. Okay, this, and then go do the transaction. They all but made that illegal. They started arresting everybody, and then they closed down the website. Like, so people don't even understand what decentralization, what P2P is like, because they were forced to use Coinbase. Coinbase is stealing money too. Coinbase is one making these laws to make things harder for you, and they all cheer for them. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, is really doesn't make sense. Really.
No, it doesn't.
So, what is more dangerous right now? Not owning Bitcoin or not understanding it?
What is more dangerous, not owning it or not understanding it? I would say not understanding because, to be honest, we'll say Bitcoin or crypto because they are different, but, it is similar. And I think that people need to understand it because they don't. Most people think, I have Bitcoin. What's your Cash App? That's not Bitcoin. That's a scam. Like that, like you don't own any Bitcoin. They think they do, so I think understanding it is by far, more important.
Yeah. Um, right now, we are talking about some personal questions. So, when you are not tweeting or not attacking Bitcoin, who are you really?
Same person in my life. I don't know. I'm the same. I honestly have been just thinking about freedom, thinking about getting rid of this system. Like here, a quick story today. It's like, dude, my whole life, my entire life, maybe because of my tattoo, whatever it is, it's like, dude, I can't walk down the block in peace. Like some police officer or something. Oh, let me see your ID. Oh, let me search you. Thousands of times, and nothing even ever happens. But today, I'm standing on at the bus station, and I see a guy steal a. So actually, you know what? Here, I'll tell the whole story. And honestly, it really got me angry that I didn't. That I, So I was standing there, and this lady starts going, "Hey, they're stealing phones! They're stealing phones!" And the guy was like, "No, it's not me," and puts his hands up like this and doesn't show anything. So I didn't really know what was going on because, like, there's a whole commotion. They're also speaking in Spanish, which I understand fluently, but like, I didn't really know what was going on. And then like this old guy was like, "Oh, my phone!" He had it in his pocket over here, and the guy stole the phone. So and there was cops on the side. The old guy and the lady who said they were stealing phones went to go to the cops. So I was watching them walk over to the side. And then as they come walking back, I look over and the guy who they said was stealing phones was running with his friend down the block. So I see the cop just stands and goes and looks out, and he's just watching these guys run. And I'm like sitting there thinking, like, yo, I should go stop these guys right now. But then I'm like, then I gotta fight two dudes. I don't know if they have weapons. This cop's not gonna do shit. He's some fat ass sitting there fucking watching, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it because they're already gone. But I'm like, that same guy would have harassed the shit out of me. But then an actual robbery went down and he just stand there and watched it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's very like it's really like it's really not too much between stupidity and between heroes.
yeah.
Is this?
Exactly. Well, that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, yo, should I get those two right now? And then I'm like, you know what? My life's not really worth the phone. I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna chill. I'm not even gonna
But
get involved.
I understand that some policemen can be like can like judge
Oh yeah,
you.
not I don't necessarily hate them. I don't think they're all
Hmm.
bad because some of them might be good, but there's two good ones and 98 bad ones out of 100,
Yeah,
and that's a fucking problem.
yeah, that's the
So
problem.
so
And
yeah,
I think like if they see that guy like you have tattoos, they are gonna instinctively think you are some bad guy, but this is not true.
exactly, exactly.
So what something about you that most people following you would never guess?
I can't say because then they'll know.
Good answer. Gee, this was a good answer, brother. Good answer. A Sigma answer.
Thank you,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah. We will continue. Good answer. So, um, does it ever get lonely being so convicted when the most people don't see what you see?
Bro, I mean, it can drive you crazy. That's, going back to before, some people thinking like I'm angry or something like that. It's like, okay, I made the tweet before. I was talking to my mom. I'll say it was my mom. I'm like, yo, mom, you need to get tested for like your heart for the coronavirus shot and all this stuff, and because I've seen that news. I don't know if it's propaganda or if it's real or whatever, but I was telling her, and she's like, no, I don't get the coronavirus shot. I only get the flu shot. I'm like, why do you get any shot? First off, second off, bro, you did get it. They told you to get it and you got it. Like you're lying, so people just, they don't even want to admit the truth, even though it's in front of their faces. Like I'll say things to my parents, to my dad, who I would think that my dad should be a little more, because he always had his own business. He's not really like a normie, but even still, he don't believe the things I say that are right in front of his face all the time, and I'm like, it'll drive you nuts.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with doubt? Do you even allow it?
Nah, man, I don't really ever doubt myself, to be honest. I don't look at nobody as competition ever. I mean, not that I'm not gonna say like I like competition, like or like, like I'm not gonna act like, oh yeah, I like competition. I don't even think of people as competition.
Hmm.
For an example, you get banned from social media, create your own. Then take, like there is no competition. All you got to do is be better. So it's like, I don't really have doubt, you know, like, I mean, sometimes the plan will change, sometimes, but I don't really doubt in myself. I believe that, not necessarily doubt, but I feel like I should be a lot further ahead than I am. But those are probably like life's mistakes, too
Hmm.
much partying instead of like, actually really working. And, like, so those are things that I guess you got to learn when you're young. But like, I don't really doubt myself and I don't really see like people as competition. I've always been a person that sees the competition and was like, damn, how do they do so good? And learn from them and study what they do, you know?
I think it's good you don't have doubt, because in this world you got only yourself, a true friend. You got
Yep.
nobody.
Yep. No, it's the truth.
So, what was the most painful lesson in your life, and how did you shape you?
You're gonna make me cry. Nah, honestly, the most painful lesson is when my little brother died, man. I should have got him out of the United States. The United States is a fucking bad place. There was so much pressure on him. Fucking, I had the money. I could have done it. I should have done it, but
I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, thank you.
Wow, I don't know what to say for this anymore.
Yeah, that was it, man. No, I'm not gonna lie, that was it. I didn't even I was like, it happened, and it was like, bro, like 3 days I was processing it. I didn't even cry, and then I just fucking broke down, like, holy shit, crazy.
Yeah, I
Next question.
yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome, bro. Yeah.
So, has this journey affect your relationship or friendships positivity positively?
Bro, to be honest, dude, like always, like, I still have friends from back in the day, but like not really, like I'll talk to them once in a while. Like, I'll tell you that just the way that I took my life, and even like, I moved around a lot, so when I was a little kid, I had my first friends, then I moved when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or something, and then I moved when I was like 12, then I moved again when I was like 18, so I've always, like, had different friends and, like, so, like, honestly, I'm pretty much alone, by myself. I don't ask people for help. My parents, like, my parents will help me. Don't get me wrong. If I needed a place to live, I was in the streets, they'll help me. They'll do it for me. But I don't ask them for anything. Since I was 15, 17 years old, they didn't give me money. I've always been working for myself, making my own money. Like, if I was, like I said, if I'm in a bad situation, depending the situation, my mom might tell me to go fuck myself, but like,
Yep.
but yeah, like, honestly, with friends and, I talk to my parents every day and I don't really have a lot of friends. Like, I mean, I do, like I have a couple people that I talk to, but, like I go out every Friday with my group of friends or something like that.
And do you have a girlfriend or something like that, or wife?
No comment, no
No
comment, no comment.
comment. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So right now I have fast a question. So I will gonna ask you and you say this or that. Okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Am I what?
Are you
Oh, go. Ready,
ready?
ready. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm ready. I've been ready. I was born ready. Let's go.
Bitcoin or fiat?
Bitcoin or fiat. Bro, to be honest with you, dude, bro, I'll tell you, now seeing what happened, I think I made huge mistakes. Huge, because, bro, I bought Bitcoin and I've never left crypto. I still never left crypto. It's been 10 years, so no, it's been over 10 years. It's been like 11 years, something like that.
Nice.
So,
That's nice.
yeah. And I've never ever left crypto, but, honestly, I kind of think that the hold, I don't know, bro. Like, listen, if I sold, when everyone was telling me to sell in the top of 2021 and I bought a couple apartments, did this, did that, I probably would have been better off, so I don't really necessarily believe in fiat, but maybe take your crypto gains and buy some other tangible in real life assets instead of just holding crypto. But at the same time, if I was just patient, just held Bitcoin, then I, have a lot more money anyway. So, I don't know, it comes down to patience as the biggest part, but it also comes to like, what if I did buy a $200,000 Lamborghini, the market crashed to fucking 3,000 and then I sold it and bought back in or something like that,
Mhm.
you know? So it's like, dude, I'm so conflicted on this stuff now because since I got into crypto, I've never left crypto and I still never left crypto. But like, now I'm kind of thinking that maybe I made mistakes. I don't know. I don't know.
So, uh, bear market or bull market?
Right now, I mean, dude, honestly, I think that I'm not even going to say bull or bear. Like, I don't even, and I'm not really like, listen, I'm not an economist, but like, dude, I don't know if I really believe in the bull market and bear market type of thought. Let's say, like, okay, we had the bull market. Then we had all of these utility coins, all of these, altcoins, whatever, go so high to the moon. And then all of a sudden, these people start buying and they lose their money. So they left. And that's when the bear market came. Then we have NFTs. Everyone starts buying NFTs. They lose all their money. Then the bear market came. Like, bro, if we stop scamming everybody all the time, would there be a bear market? I don't know. I mean, I'm not an economist, so I don't really know because I know it has to do with like the money supply and this and that. But what happens if nobody ever got scammed? Would there be a bull market? Would there be a bear market? If you're talking about the current moment right now, bro, everybody got scammed on memes again. Where are they? They're not coming back. So, yeah, of course, the market's probably going to dump. But at the same time, the banks in control, the CEXs that are in control, they could pump the market anytime they want at will. They do to test it to see if there's enough buyers that they can
Mhm.
make money or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on the new players. It depends on the volume. It depends on what these people want to do. Are they going to start pumping it and then start putting out all these news all the time? And so it's like, dude, crypto turned into TradFi
Mhm.
pretty much. I mean, yeah, freedom still exists. Yeah, decentralization still exists. Yeah, you could create your own coins, all this stuff. But like, I don't know. It's a good question that I don't really have an answer for.
So, as we are heading into the new year, what exact what excites you most about Bitcoin?
Bro, to be honest, I'm not excited about Bitcoin anymore. My name's out on Bitcoin and I'm not excited. Am I gonna use it as a savings account or whatever? Yeah, I guess. But like to be honest, bro, I'm gonna pivot. If everybody wants the memes, then that's what they're gonna get. Like that's why I've been changing my style on my page. I'm doing these spaces. I'm just gonna start doing like some launches and stuff like that, see how it goes, try to make money. If that's the state of the market, then, I guess I have to conform. And, if it's not how I want it to be, then I have to conform and figure out how to make it how I want it to be. But, you can't just sit here just hoping that Bitcoin's going to go to the moon every single day. You got to make money and figure out how to do that or whatever. So, honestly, bro, I'm not even really unless we bank run all the CEXs and ETFs, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin at all.
Mhm.
Until that day that all of these centralized entities are bankrupted, I'm not bullish anymore at all on Bitcoin.
What do you think will shock people the most in the next 12 months?
Could you say that again?
What do you think will shock people the most in the next 12 months?
What will shock people?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, like, see, like, this is the thing too. I don't really want to be like a pessimist. I'm just a realist, I would say. But like, if there's nobody interested in Bitcoin, like no more institutions are buying. They're selling. They probably want to liquidate Sailor. So like what's gonna shock people the most is if Bitcoin dumps to 30 grand, and it might, it really might. And the thing is, this is the fourth cycle. Like who uses Bitcoin? Who wants Bitcoin besides these banks and these people who are making money off their fees and stuff like that. Like I mean, yeah, there's people that want it. Like I mean, I still want it. I still want to hold it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that probably do. Most people don't even understand it. Think they're too poor to own it. So if they have $10, $20 to the name, they don't even buy it because they think they're gonna make so much more off of meme coins or whatever. So like, I think that if the market crashes and resets, then that's what, that's going to be a huge shock. But at the same time, I think these big entities can probably hold it up. But if they start losing money, there's no incentive to hold it up. So, honestly, I could see that. I don't know. Do I think it's going to go from 90 back to 110 right now? Probably, maybe, but then it's going to go back down to 60. Then it's going to go to 80. Then it's going to go down to 30, and could it? Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't look like anybody's too bullish these days. It doesn't look like all new money's coming in. Like all the normies that lost their money at 120, they're not happy. They've already sold and they're not coming back for another 4 years. So I don't know.
What should people be paying attention to the next year, but probably aren't?
But probably won't.
Aren't.
Aren't. Okay. Yeah. Bro, I mean, maybe the privacy narrative, but not the ZEC scam narrative. That's like, I mean, ZEC, I mean, maybe it'll go up just because they got billionaires pushing it and stuff. But like Monero really actually is anonymous. And, I know that people use it. So, there is no use cases really for any other crypto. I mean, maybe I don't know, like, well, but like, dude, the thing is, look at what happened this year. Every single VC coin that came out that before used to give you an X, literally gave you a negative 5X. So why the hell would you buy any new coin if you're going to get a negative 5X every
Mhm.
single time? It doesn't even matter. So to be honest, dude, right now, the way that I'm looking at things, the way that I'm thinking about things, the way that I'm reevaluating is host spaces, launch a coin, let my community win, sell for a 2, 3X, and get out. Just like all these other people are doing. Buy in for $100, sell it for 2, 300, make your 100, 200. That's the only way to make money in crypto now. Unless you build your own platform that, Pump Fund,
Mhm.
Hyperliquid, these guys are making money. Okay, we can make a giant and spam G monad all over the timeline for 3 years and then dump it to shit as soon as we launch it, get all these idiots to buy the
Mhm.
pre-sale. If that's your morals and you want to do that, then you can make money, but I think that now is just if the meme coins, stays alive, which I think it is because there's so many people and it's just like gambling and things. I think that it's just find people that you trust that you can get in early onto something, make your quick 1, 2X, 3X and get out and recycle. Honestly, I really think that's how it's going to look going forward until, like I said, until CEXs, banks, all these people are out of the picture, like
Mhm.
it's, I don't know.
So, if you had to give one piece of advice for the next year, what would be?
Pay deep attention to narratives, maybe, or trends. Don't just ape all of your money into Bitcoin. If you do believe in Bitcoin, if you do want to buy it, maybe like DCA over the next year or two, like because that's supposed to be the bear market or whatever, if it is a bear market. But just pay attention to trends, pay attention to narratives. That was and it always has been one of my like biggest mistakes in crypto, let's say. Like I paid attention to the Bitcoin narrative and I got 1,000X or whatever it was, with Bitcoin. But what I didn't pay attention to was the monkey picture narrative. I said, hey, it's a scam. I'm not buying that. It was. But, like I wasn't involved in NFTs at all. I missed that whole thing when I could have made a lot of money probably, cause I don't really like it. It's not really, it doesn't bring the space forward. It just, whatever. And then same thing with the memes. The memes started coming around. I'm watching all these, scammers promoting it, because that's what they are, and I was just like, I don't want to get involved in this shit. But I probably could have made a lot of money if I did. I tried to make my own meme coin and actually build a real community, which I could have just made money and dumped it and,
Mhm.
did the same thing as everyone else, scammed it, but I lost money. So I think that, I don't think the memes are going away because it's just, it's like a new thing. But I think that in order for crypto to actually start picking up again, it really needs a new narrative. It needs a new trend, and it's not here yet. So pay attention to that.
At the end of the year, when everything slowed down, what are you most glad for?
Bro, I'm great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm grateful that I left the USA, that I moved to another place that, you're actually free, kind of, let's say. And I'm grateful that I'm free. I'm grateful that I haven't really had to work that hard in the last decade, and I'm, still young. I'm just grateful that I've been made the right choices. I said, yo, why should I live in New York paying 100,000 a year when I can live in Colombia and pay 15,000,
Hmm.
like, or 12,000, whatever it is.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm grateful that I made these choices, and that I've made myself free. And I'm grateful for being in the crypto market. I'm not like a slave to the dollar or any of that anymore. And I really I as much as I talk shit about Bitcoin, I'm so grateful that I found it. It changed my life. It really, I don't even want to imagine. I'd probably be dead with my brother if I fucking was in the US still, bro. I'm not
Ooh,
gonna lie.
okay. So one final a question. When people watch this episode of a year from now, what do you hope you were right about?
Bro, I just hope that people start listening, that they take their money off CEXs, they don't use it anymore, they start spreading the word just like I am, telling people ETF is not Bitcoin, it is a scam. Putting your money on CEXs is not Bitcoin, it is a scam. If you put your money on these platforms, you have no money. They do. And you are literally providing them liquidity to do whatever they want to the market. If Big Daddy calls them up. Hey, listen, I don't like that country anymore. Freeze their funds. You're gonna lose everything. And I just hope people start listening because it's literally, all these idiots. Oh, the regulations. Yeah. You can't regulate crypto. It is literally impossible to regulate crypto. All these people think, oh, they live in the US, oh, yeah, regulations are gonna be so good. Like, since when has regulations helped anybody? I hope they listen to that.
So, it was it. So, I thank you for your time, Adam, Bitcoin, and everybody who is listening. Thank you. Please share it, like it, and if we are going to get like 200 likes, we will going to get another episode.
Bro, we're getting 200 likes. Don't worry, bro. We're doing it. Just
So
let me know when. And yo, I got to say too, thank you everybody that's watching, that's supporting. No, I really appreciate everybody for real because, I can't do nothing without anyone. So I just hope that we can really rise above the noise and make people actually really listen to this stuff.
enjoy your holiday, enjoy your New Year's, and I will talk with you soon. This was Tony from the Live podcast, and
Adam Bitcoin.
bye, guys. I talk to you
All
soon.
right, yo, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank
Of
you so
course.
much. All right,
Bye.
bro. Bye.